choose to stay, and it's on automatic. That's awesome, isn't it?
It is awesome. You made me think about somebody. I had to put a post on one of the different channels, and I said, "Doesn't the Bible say that you are God?" And the person that I was speaking to said, "The Bible doesn't say anything." He said, "Well, he says God didn't say anything, and he didn't use the word anything. He used the word sh, blah blah blah." And he said, "Man said that," and I said, "You got it." I said, the mouth of man is the mind of God. I said, you got it. I said, now you don't realize because he's trying to be sarcastic, but God uses the vehicle of people to get across his message.
That's all it is. And it's a simple message.
Yeah.
I mean, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's everybody, every child born a woman. And you say, well, how about all the babies that don't even make it? They make it. Nothing dies. There's nothing transforming in death. Like I say, you die a ding dong, you get to play ding dong again, and again and again. How long, oh Lord, how long? And he's going, well, whenever you get it. See, he gave it to them, but did they get it? He gave it to them again, but how did they get it? They might walk away really lifted, but what about by the time they get home? You see, it starts going downhill because you're focusing now on what's happening at the moment, whereas what you already heard is perfect. But now you're going to let that go to pick up looking at things, talking about things or other people. But understand, it's as you think you are. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. You're an only begotten, and it's what you think is what you're experiencing, and what DeCarlo is thinking, that's what he's experiencing. The
Absolutely.
idea is for us all to kind of get on the same page. You're still an individual, and it's still your own self-talk, but at least you got the idea now that you're the ones choosing your everydayness by movements of mind in the theater of mind. That's where we do our work, aware or unaware that we're doing the work. But all your work is just choosing. But that can be kind of a hard thing to do. I mean, because I talk to many people, and I ask them, I say, well, what do you really, what is your passion? And they just look at you like, what? Well, you have a passion, don't you? You know, no, 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 I'm not talking about sex. I mean, a passion for living. If you have that, then you'll move right along. But if you don't have that, you're always kind of stuck in a box, like, but you can get out of the box. See, it's not that high. You can crawl out, but you have to start somewhere, and that starting, that's a hump, isn't it?
It is. It is. You said something, and I want to go back to it. You said, listen, there's no transforming power in death. And you're absolutely correct. The transforming power is why we live. Is that correct?
Actually, yeah, just the way you live. In other words, you take with you your attitudes, your assumptions, your moods, and uh, you take all that with you. But you get a new body, but this uniform, but that goes with you. So if you were kind of like I was when I got first heard it, an idiot, you kind of see the daylight as to be just a little bit more informed. That's what you're to do. You're told to inform yourself. It's all right there. It's all right there in Scripture. I read over it and I read over it and I read, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I was looking at it as secular history, but it is divine history. It's what you're doing right here, right now, today. That's what it is. That is scripture today. Why don't you follow it? Didn't cost you anything. You don't have to let anybody know you're doing anything. Just keep your mouth shut and think about it. But if you think about it long enough, you start thinking from it. And that's the difference that makes the difference. Isn't that it?
That's absolutely it. And most of us, we do this anyway. We start grade school, whatever, and we go in not knowing something. Then we get it and we start thinking from the new ideal that we have. We do this when we watch a movie, when we're interacting in relationships, when we learn a new job. We do what we're talking about moment by moment. We just don't realize that we're doing it.
And no one makes the connection.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have said it this 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and now you're experiencing it. But it could have been overnight or the next day, Uh, whatever it is you're thinking, you've set the time on it by what it is. The situation could only take place at this time and this time and this time. Well, and that's when you're setting your mind without even being conscious of doing so. It's just that you think that that's when it'll happen. But you see, everything's happening now. See, if it's not happening now, it ain't gonna be there then.
Yeah.
So now's the time you're planting the seed of what idea. And then when it comes up to be harvested, it's yours. But you have to claim it. Okay? If you ask for it, you have to claim it. That's what claiming it is. You're asking for it. And you're told when you ask, believe you've already received it. See, God doesn't need any time. It's all done. He's already finished creation. So whatever you want to choose, you give and choose this day. And whatever you choose, it's already there. But you have to claim it. See, that's the simple one point of crossing the line. You have to claim it. It's yours. It's yours because God said so. He gave you, well, he gave you all kinds of gifts. And I can tell you, once you start actually moving in and making use of the gifts, that's praising God. You got to recognize them. And the only way you recognize them, you sit in a silence and shut up for a while and listen. And you'll get the answers. Look, all you got to do is just ask a question and then just shut up. That's it. Be still and know that I'm God. And just knowing that he's God, he's got the answer. And he's going to give you the answer because he already said he would. Do you believe God's promises? If you really read scripture correctly, there's a whole lot of promises in there, aren't there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said something earlier, and I want to ask a question on that. You stated about the claiming it. Now, I know that there are those who are in the audience that they're asking themselves, what is it to claim it?
My cup. This is my cup. Keep your hands off it. My cup. That's what you do. You claim it. You don't get no signed document, but actually, if God said you can do it, then you can do it. You don't need a document. Even if you had one, and you do have one, it's called the Bible. It's a document God left for you, and he said, I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this, if you just do that. And that you're supposed to do is choose what it is you want. People can't do that. I don't know why they can't do that. See, you're told to become little children because little children, they looking in the window there and they're saying, that's what I want right there. I want that. I want that. I want that. And if I don't get it, the child learns to demand right off. I mean, here he's just an infant, but boy, he's demanding something to eat. I mean, that's it. And he won't take no for an answer. We're so simple, you know. I mean, it's all laid right out there for you, but you have to pay attention because you see, if you want your attention to have a new life, then your attention must be on the new life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said something about the child, and Jesus says, unless you become as little children, and they claim it wholeheartedly. They believe whatever. It's like, let's say the bike, for example. The child says he or she wants a bike. They already see themselves riding that bike in their mind. It's not even an option at that point. It's just now they're waiting on the manifestation. They don't know how it's going to come, and they call it Santa or whatever, but they believe that they have the thing which they made the request for.
See, they trust you to get them the bike. And they've already trusted you to get in the bike because you said you would. God said he would. Why don't you believe him?
Yeah.
I know he's laughing. He's laughing. I mean, yeah, we really do start out stupid. And you get conditioned to more stupidity on the way of growing up. But then that's the reason for that time when you start choosing to think for yourself. Hey, listen, I talk to people in their 80s and 90s, and they're still being raised by their parents, and they have no idea that that's happening. But it is. You just talk to them for a while. The things that they say, that was back then, and they're not even talking about now. I don't know. It's kind of funny when you think about it, isn't it?
It is. You said something I want to touch on real quick as we wind down. You said, listen, we start off stupid and then we get stupider as we go along. The truth of the matter is, children start off as genius. We condition them to be stupid. We start taking the genius because the genius comes from us asking the questions, and as we ask the question, because we're absorbing information, so we're an open sponge. And you've said it in other talks, by the age of reasoning, most children are conditioned by the age of 7. And it's so true. The question is, what are we as adults, as those who are older, conditioning them to be, do, or have?
Well, that's parenting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I see people in the market with their kids, and I see how they're treating their kids, and I know he's going to turn out to be a bastard.
Yeah.
He's going to be hurting people.
Yeah.
See, and I know that, and you'd like to walk over and tap them on the shoulder and tell them what they're doing, but then you just piss them off. That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what you would do.
Yep. And it's like I said, you get in people tell me, "Oh, you're not very sociable." No, and because there's not really much, not much to gain out of it. See, because the people's thinking is very limited, and you don't need to be limited. There is no limit. You're told whatsoever choose to stay. Whatsoever. That's what you have to choose from. So if you can't choose better, like, yeah, better talk to somebody. That's all you have to do. If you know what your life is at this point, I'm sure you know what would be an improvement. Move in and think from that for a while. And if you start seeing the signs of benefits, that'll keep you going. But you have to be patient with yourself to do that. That was my nemesis right there. Just I think I probably quit 100 times. Just not being patient with myself. But you see, there's always that little nagging type voice there that tells you you had it going. You had actually started. Why stop? If you believe the results will be there because God promised you that, what do you got to lose? But your fears. And that's all you need to lose is your fears. Your fear of everything is actually the problem of everything. Would you say?
I would absolutely say. I would absolutely say. So, in closing, what would you say to the listener, in the term of simply overcoming your fear?
Yeah, turn around. You turn to me, I'll turn to you. If God turns to you, where's the fear? See, it's that simple. All you have to do is keep it simple. You'll remember it. If you start complicating it, see, it just goes away. It's always with you, but it goes away. It's never right here when you need it. You can think of it later, I mean, it's like sometimes I'll give a quote of somebody and I can't remember who the person was, and I'm trying to think of who it was and who it wasn't. And when I go out, I'm getting in the car. Oh, there it is. Oh, thanks. No, I mean, I'm always relying on DeCarlo to tell me who said it.
He doesn't need me very often. That's the truth. He doesn't need me very often because most of the time he can recall it. But I want to mention to again the 4 CD set for those who are interested. These things, if you sit there and meditatively listen to them, they're going to radically transform your life because what's going to happen is what's been given to Mr. Lindell is going to be given to you and it's going to become your message. But that message is going to change your life as you begin using that message to transform the lives of others. If you're interested in the 4 CD set, click on the link in the description and it'll be there. So again, look at getting that 4 CD set. It'll change your life if you allow it.
All you have to do is listen. All there is to it. He tells you, be still and know that I'm God. And that's what the message is telling you. God's right here with you. He is you. That he gave you. Choose the route you'll take through this life. And you're doing so every day, aware or unaware. And this whole thing here is that we just want you to be a little more aware, because then you get the benefits of being more aware. Isn't that it?
That's absolutely it. Well, sir, like always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it has.
We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm good. I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes, and I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.